In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to hoop a finish hat properly for your embroidery machine. Embroidering a finish hat on a multi-needle machine will require a kit that is usually optional with those machines, and they look like this. We actually have a driver, and this driver will fit onto the machine and will go over the cylinder arm of the machine so that you can actually embroider on a curved surface. It's actually a tubular attachment for the machine. Once this is in place, then you have specific frames, and as you can see, they are the shape of a hat, and they allow you to actually embroider on curved surfaces. Now, depending on your machines, these frames will vary, and they'll vary in the amount of size, the size that you can put on the front of the finish hat, whether it is, between 2 to almost 2 3/4 inches in height, and anywhere from 5 to 11 inches across the front. So this machine here will allow you to do a 270, which will allow you to, in one hooping, embroider from one side of the hat all the way over to the other. Now, the other thing that we have is the jig, and the jig is the item that you actually put onto or clamp onto a table, and this is what you use to actually hoop your cap frame. You'll set the cap frame inside the jig, and then you can hoop the hat, and then you apply it to the driver on the machine. Now, before we get started hooping the hats, I want to go over a little bit about hats and the different styles that are available, because that will really give us different areas that we can embroider, and it will dictate the height and the width of the area of the hat as well. Now, if I come to the standard 3, there is a OPF hat, which is a one-piece front hat, and these are probably my favorite because they are the friendliest for embroidering on a finish hat, because you only have one panel across the front, and you have a very high area on the front of the hat on the crown because of the way they are assembled. Now, they are generally either backed with a laminated backing, or they're foam based like this one, and that's one of the tricky things is sometimes if you embroider on foam, there's a little bit more of a puffiness there, and you might have to adjust your underlay a little bit based on that. But OPFs are generally one of the easiest hats that you can embroider on. Now, on the other side, we have what's called a varsity hat, and this is, or a dad hat, as a lot of people like to call them, and these are more form-fitted hats that are 6 panels and don't have any laminated buckroom on them, so they actually are a little bit tougher, and you really have to secure them properly within the hoop and make sure that they're pulled tight. We also have the center seam to deal with, so you want to make sure you drop your needle right in the center seam. But these also are pretty friendly to work with. You do have to be more concerned with what I call puckering on the hat, so a lot of the rules for digitizing caps really do apply. That center out on either way and bottom up, where you're pushing the design, I guess, from the point where the crown meets the peak and move upwards. That is 2 rules that you really want to follow with this style of hat, because you don't have that laminated buckroom, and you're really relying on how well you hoop it as well as the stabilizer in behind there. And then we have this one, which is probably one of the most popular hats. This is a 6-panel hat. They can, vary as far as how much they are fitted. There's lots of different brands out there and manufacturers. And these ones, they do embroider well because they have the laminated backing on them, but that center seam is what we call the Bermuda Triangle embroidery, because you can literally lose a letter I in that seam, and because of the manufacturing process where there's so many pieces of material that are being sewn together, it can be an area that can be very tough for your machine to sew through. So we also have to take that into consideration when we're embroidering on this style of hat. Now, one thing you want to consider when you are embroidering on a finish hat is the hardware, or the kit that comes with it, is specific to that curved surface. But the most important thing is knowing how to digitize for a finish cap, because there are rules that apply for curved surfaces or finish hats that don't apply to any other types of embroidery, and that is generally the bottom up, inside out rule. You always want to make sure that your designs flow from where the peak meets the crown and they go upwards, so you're pushing away from the peak, as well as going from the center out on either side. And that is something that does require theory. And we do have a a masterclass for digitizing on finish caps, and that's probably the best place to start if you want to learn how to digitize your own designs. So now that we have a foundation in place, let's start hooping some hats. Now the first hat I'm going to show you how to hoop is the one-piece front, and this one, as I mentioned, it has one piece and it's nice and secure for hooping. Now usually what I always do is open up the back clasp, and I'll also take the inner headband and I will move it out of the way so that I have it folded forward. That way I have a lot of access to the inside of the hat, and I can then put it on the actual jig. Now I'm going to take my hoop frame, and this one has a little clasp here which I can undo, and then this piece right here, this is what actually goes right where the peak and the crown fall into place. So it has a little ridged line on the inside so that it grabs the inside of that seam where the two actually meet together. And this is really the most important part, is to get this line, that ridge line, going all the way from one side of the peak to the other so that it's held in place all the way from one side to the other. So now that this is undone, I'm going to clamp this in place, and it locks in place onto the jig, and then I'll let this little piece kind of just fall to the side. And this is when I'm going to take my hat and I'm going to take a piece of stabilizer, and the stabilizer that I'm using is just a tearaway stabilizer. I'm going to put the stabilizer in place so that it actually falls right to the band that you have inside the hat. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over the cap frame, and there is a little piece right here that has a red line on it. That red line represents the center point of the hat, which if you do have a 6-panel hat that has a line, you try to line it up from one side to the other. Because this is a 5-panel hat, I'm just going to put my sweatband underneath that little ridge, and there's a place for it to sit, bring it all the way forward, and then bring my hat as close to the edge as possible. So I am trying to line up, because I have a little line right here. I'm trying to line up my line that I see here with my line that is on the other side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little piece here, and I'm going to make sure that all the other area of the hat is out of the way, and I'm going to bring this band across, but I'm going to try to catch those little grooves into the seam so it's all the way across right in the seam, and the little grooves and the little kind of divots in there hold it right in place. And I'm going to line it up again. Now I know that when this clamps in, there's a clamp here, it's going to clamp in and it's going to shift it when it clamps a little bit this way. So it's going to push a little bit. So I usually try to counteract about 1/8 of an inch to the other side so that it's off center this way a little bit, so that when I actually clamp it in, it's going to clamp in and pull it to the center. Now the other thing to look at with this is there is a metal piece right here. I want to make sure that that is actually clamped to the inside of the hoop. So I want to make sure that it is sitting right inside there. That way it's going to be held firmly and the hoop won't come loose. So when I'm looking at this right now, I can see all the way across from one side of the hat to the other. It's falling right in where the crown meets the peak. I can see that it's pretty much in line, and then I'm just going to click it into place, and that is rock solid. Now I have a couple of little clamps here. I can take 1 or 2 clamps, and I do have an area on the hoop underneath which allows me to clamp in one side here, and then there's one on the other side that will clamp in the other side. And then when I release this on either side and pull it out, I can see I have a nice smooth hooping that right here, it's going right into the ridge all the way to the other side. The cap is very secure and it's not going to move at all. Now the next hat I'm going to do is the varsity hat, or the dad hat, and this is a 6-panel hat. You can see the center seam. It's a low-rise hat, and there is absolutely no stabilizer like laminated buckram on the inside. So with this one, we definitely need to use a tearaway stabilizer to make sure we have some stabilizer in there. And I'm going to line up my stabilizer again to the band, the sweatband around the inside of the hat. And I'm just going to put it in place like this. And then I'm going to take that item again, open up my hoop all the way. I'm going to take this item in and I'm going to kind of put it all the way across the hat like that. And this one does require a little bit of movement of all the material, make sure everything's in place to be pulled tightly. And I also want to look to make sure the center seam is lining up to that center line of the hat. So there is that little red mark here. I want to line that red mark up to the center seam. And also keep in mind that not all hats are sewn 100% perfectly, meaning that the peak might be off a little bit from the crown, but having your design line up on that center seam is the most important part when lining it up for embroidery. So now that that is in place, I'm just going to hold it as close as possible into the frame. I'm going to bring the frame around to the other side like we did before, and I'm going to make sure that I offset it just a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch, and make sure that everything is going along the track where the peak meets the crown. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to lock it in place. Make sure that it's locked in place on the side as well. And this is where, well, it's just locked in place, I'm going to move everything out of the way and try to get this as flat as possible. And then once I have it in place, I'm going to take my hands underneath and I'm holding both sides of the hat and pulling firmly. And then I'm going to lock it into place. And that gives me some stability there. Now at this point, I definitely am going to use my clips, and I'm going to put a clip on one side and a clip on the other side, and I'm going to hold that in place. And as you can see, the hat is secured. There is a little bit of puckering, but there's really not much we can do about that, which is why it's important that we put the clamps on to keep it as smooth as possible. And as I mentioned, the inside out rule really applies with these types of hats, because we want to push that material from one side to the other to smooth out all of the actual fabric so we don't get any puckering in the actual design. Now lastly, I'm going to show you how to hoop the 6-panel with the laminated buckram. These ones we don't have to worry quite as much about the design kind of buckling over like we did with the varsity hat, but we do have a laminated buckram on the inside of this hat, which is very, very stable. And I don't really think that I necessarily need to use a piece of tearaway stabilizer, because this has so much stability in it, it's not going to move anywhere. Now, one thing that I did do in the commercial days was I would have an 18 head machine that we would actually hoop all the hats for. So we would have hooping stations, have the hats being hooped and ready for the machine. And to make sure that we got as tight of a fit as possible, we actually had steamers beside all the hooping stations. And the idea was, while we were hooping one hat, I would actually have the next hat that was going to be hooped sitting on the head of the steamer, and that way the steam would actually soften the laminated buckram on the inside of the hat. So as soon as I take it off, I'd put it onto the cap frame and I would hoop the hat, and because this was pliable, it would give me a much better hooping. Now, the other thing that we used to do in those days, and this isn't really applicable if you have a single needle machine, but if you do have a machine with multi-heads on it, more than one head, and you have, let's say, a 4, a 6, or a 12 head machine that you're able to do hats on, it's really important that you get all the hats to line up so that that center seam is always the same. And that was one thing that commercially, when we had 18 head machines, we would load the machine and run all 18 hats at the same time. We would drop the needle position right on the center seam for head number 1, but we had to then rely that all the other 17 heads were exactly in the same place. And given that scenario, we actually did on our hooping stations have our jig set up, and we had a crosshair laser mounted over top of it, so that when we hooped, the person who was hooping would always see that crosshair and know that they were lining up to the center seam. But if you're only doing one hat at a time on a single head, then just dropping the needle position right to the center seam, that will give you your guideline to make sure you're always going to be correct on your placement. So now with this one, same thing. I've opened up the hat. I've pulled out the inside centerpiece right here so that that band is on the inside. I'm going to take this and just slide it underneath, and then I'm going to make sure that Everything else is in place. My material is kind of out of the way, and I'm going to grab that piece of metal and make sure again that it is right in line with the peak and the crown, so it's falling right into that crevice. I'm going to put it in place like that. Make sure that that center seam is lined up to the red mark on my hoop, and then I'm going to hold it on either side, and after I have it held in place, I'll just click on that, and that is nice and secured. And then just to make sure it's not going anywhere, I'll put in one of my little clamps on one side, another clamp on the other side, and when I take this off now, I have a nice hooping, and this is always what you want to try to do. Make sure that that metal bar is right where the peak meets the crown, and we're ready to go. Now, one thing I did want to mention about finish hats is that all machines are not created equal with regards to the amount of size you're allowed to embroider on the front of the hat. This one, which is for our Tajima Sai, I can actually go from one side of the hat all the way over to the other if I want to embroider, while other frames are set up so that you only have the front area that you can embroider. And on those hoops, a lot of times I've seen little clamps for the peak, which help to hold the peak down in place so that it doesn't hit the back of the machine. But this one, because it is such a large field area, those clamps aren't really an advantage. It could be a disadvantage because coming back, it might hit the back of the machine. Now, this actually gives us about a 2 3/4 inch height on the Tajima machine, which is one of the largest in the industry. I've worked with other machines where I've been lucky to get maybe 2 inches in height, up to the 2.5 inches. So it really does depend on the brand of machine you have with regards to how close you can get to the bottom. That usually is the problem, is that when you have the frame come out like this peak ends up hitting the back of the machine, and it rubs across the back. So some machines are more limited with regards to how much space you have getting close to the bottom. I like to get as close to where the peak meets the crown with embroidery, especially taglines, because it does look a little strange if your design is way up here and there's a whole bunch of blank space right there where those areas meet. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and just remember, hooping hats all comes down to practice and consistency. It gets easier as you go along, and before you know it, you'll be hooping like a pro. So watch this video next, and I'll teach you step by step how to digitize your first finish cap design.